assist our older demographic because I know that it is a huge pain point, for lack of better words, for our older demographic, people that might be a little bit tech challenged, if I want to be a little bit more politically correct. So I think that would be something that you can add to your arsenal of business. So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of tips or tricks on how I do everything. So I wanted to welcome you and thank you for joining me. So let me share my screen and present my entire screen, if I can. Yes. Okay. So let me just give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn off my notifications and set myself as away on Slack. Okay. And go to the beginning. All right, now I'm going to present. And then this is being recorded. So I'm going to be putting this up on our YouTube channel as well. So that way anyone that wasn't able to come, we can do that. So welcome. This is going to be going over assisting older signers with remote online notarization. My name is Katie. I'm the director. I do webinars as often as my schedule allows on Thursdays at 1 p.m. So understanding the challenges, one of the biggest pain points or sticking points when I am kind of introducing remote online notary to different people is, yeah, that's great, but I have clients that won't be able to get signed on. And so my job is to kind of explain to them the different things that I do to make it better for this demographic that might be tech challenged, and that might be a little bit hesitant to start to learn this new skill. So I kind of let them know that it is not something that they are going to need a degree for, but it is something to kind of think about as I am, setting up these notarizations the easiest way to do everything. Blue Notary does have a distinct advantage because we are very much aware of this and we want to make it as easy as possible. So we have our tech background, our software background. So we try and streamline it as much as possible. But these things on top of our platform also help. So the big thing to remember is that most of the time, to have a little bit of patience with our older demographic, just because, or just in general, just because it usually is the first time that someone is coming into this and seeing this new technology. So, oh, sorry. I think someone might just need to go on mute. I hear a little bit of, okay, perfect. Okay, so by taking these steps, you can create a more inclusive and accessible experience for them. So starting the process right in the first part is sending a prep email. So I think that prepping the signers, not even older for the older demographic, but in general, is one of the most important parts of what I learned just through kind of trial and error to cut down on the notarization time. So sending them a prep email beforehand. I know that we as Blue Notary send them a prep email, but sometimes that falls by the wayside. So I send them an additional email from my personal, like from my own business email, just to give them a second set of basically reminders of how it works and what that looks like, which you'll see at the end. I give you a little bit of a explanation as to what I send out. So if you are setting up your Calendly, which we have some other resources on, but it is essentially something that you can schedule things with, but then it also sends follow-up emails. So you can set up your Calendly where it'll do text messages, it'll have more touch points, and then it'll have emails with reminders and just kind of prep the clients prior to the actual signing itself. I think that it cuts down on so much time for these notarizations, both with getting them to sign on and as a reminder that they have a notarization in an hour. Um, so you can always customize it based on what you want it to look like. Um, and however you want to set up your emails or your text messages, or I guess give them a call. I wouldn't recommend it just because it takes more time out of your day. But you can set up your business however you'd like. So the other thing is to make sure that I let them know that I would like them to sign on at least 10 minutes prior. That gives them basically a testing period of if they can get signed on by themselves or not. Just because sometimes I have it where if I don't tell them to sign on 10 minutes prior and to tell them to click on get started, they'll call me and say, okay, I have the email, I'm looking at it, what do I do next? So you really have to kind of break it down and let them know that about 10 minutes prior, if they can get into the session, that way, in case they have any problems, I would be able to help them a little bit prior, especially if you have someone that is doing a notarization that needs a witness. I highlight that. So I say, we just want to be respectful of everyone's time. I am coordinating with a witness. So that kind of gives more of an incentive that, we want everything to run smoothly just because we want to be cognizant of people's time. So the other thing that is a main hangup that I see that I prep beforehand is if you are doing loan signings, sometimes even the buyer, it's not super often, but for the wiring instructions. So for sellers packages, usually they want the wiring instructions. And if they are not made aware of that beforehand, they'll be scrambling all over the place. So usually I include that they need the wiring instructions to cut down on the time. So also good contact information. If you send out an email but you don't have a cell phone for them to call, they would essentially be Googling or trying to call the title company saying, hey, I have no idea how to get signed on, which has happened before. And it's not the best experience for them. It's not the best experience for the title company because they're like, okay, well, I'm doing all of this work to try and get them to get signed on. What is the point of using them? So you want to make sure that that does not happen. The next part is tech support. So if you want to, you can extend to offer a call a few days prior to the appointment, just to kind of walk them over how everything kind of works. And I can give you the pitch too. I don't think that I put that in this presentation, but we can go over it really quick. So the way that I explain remote online notarization to a demographic that might be a little bit scared of it is that it is a combination of Zoom and DocuSign on a more secure platform. So the other thing that I run into the most is that they are worried about being able to upload their ID. So the other thing that I kind of say is if you can upload a check onto a banking system, it is essentially the same thing. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier for them to conceptualize it and hopefully not be so scared of, learning how to do the remote online notarization. So the other thing that I think was one of the biggest game changers for me for when you are doing these notarizations and they say, well, I don't know how to do the tech. I'm not that tech, savvy. Say, okay, that's great. If you have any friends, family, grandson, nephew, male person that might be on, to help them kind of assist in getting signed on. So obviously you would have to have the signer be the one that is signing the document. But if they are having trouble trying to kind of like click through, I usually recommend having a friend come over and just kind of help them for the duration. So the other thing is that you want to keep in mind that this is usually someone's first experience and you want it to be a good experience. So the thing that I always try and say is that if this were my family member, I would want someone to treat them well while they're learning this new thing that could potentially be very, very stressful. And that translates to when you are then working with different title companies, because the title company 9 times out of 10, when I've done it, asks the signers, how did it go? So if you want to make a good impression, what you would want to do is have them say, it was tough, but Katie walked me through the whole entire process. It was no big deal, and then we got it done. Rather than, you know, I don't recommend, being impatient, being, just don't sigh while you're on the computer and everything like that. So just kind of let them know and be that reassuring individual. So the other thing is that this is exactly what I send for when I am sending out these notarizations. So this is exactly what I send. So I do the step-by-step for the YouTube tutorial that we have. Make sure that you are using the new one. And then also I do the step-by-step that is like we have the video, but then we also have the article. So that way they can refer back to it and they don't have to go through the whole entire video if they don't want to. And then also I kind of give them what they need and then any type of way to contact me. So I make sure that I let them know that I have WhatsApp because I work with a lot of different international clients, and that sometimes is their more preferred way of talking. So I kind of put that in there as well. I will drop the link for this webinar presentation, but I put the YouTube link and then also the step-by-step. And then if you go on, I think you should be able to copy and paste from Canva, but let me exit out. I'm going to get back to where I can see you guys. Okay. Was I not presenting this whole time? Oh no.
You started to, and then it stopped. I didn't realize it till you made a comment, and I was like, wait a minute, I think she's supposed to be screen sharing.
I was supposed to be screen sharing this entire time. That's fine.
It's okay. You did start with them.
I'm sorry, guys. I made a presentation and it's really... My apologies. Obviously, I'm the one that also needs a little bit of help with tech. Okay, well.
I thought you were just dropping stuff in the chat. I'm like, where is there a chat on here?
No. Okay, well, I don't think I'm even...
We understood what you were saying, though. We understood. At least I understood what you were saying. I was following along, though. I have a mom in her 70s, and this is extremely helpful.
Was it, Minda?
It was. Even without it, it was helpful.
Okay. Well, let me drop the presentation link. I am so sorry. Okay.